This module will identify other forms of tobacco use and articulate the harmful effects of these forms. The forms we're going to discuss are smokeless tobacco, pipes, cigars, cloves, biddies, and hookahs. Now note, electronic cigarettes will be covered in the next section. Now, people who use smokeless tobacco forms are addicted to nicotine, but may use it for different reasons, may have different patterns of use, and they also may have different patterns of relapse. Now, there's no specialized treatment programs for smokeless tobacco products, so they typically come to smoking cessation programs for help. Now, the three types of smokeless tobacco that's used in the U.S. chewing tobacco, snuff, and dissolvables. Chewing tobacco is a type of smokeless tobacco that predominates in the U.S., and it comes in three different forms: loose, plugged, and twist. Loose is aged, sweetened, and typically packaged in a foil. Plugged is cured and compressed together and wrapped in a tobacco leaf. And twisted is cured tobacco leaves, and you guessed it, twist together like a rope. Now, these forms of tobacco are placed between the cheeks and gum, where tobacco juice is either spit out or swallowed. Now, chewing tobacco is most common among white men in rural areas in the Midwest or the South. An important consideration to note is those who chew typically have a higher total nicotine exposure than those who smoke cigarettes. Snuff is a tobacco that has been finely ground, and it comes in two forms: moist and dry. Moist is cured and fermented and is placed between the lower lips or the cheeks and gum. Dry is cured and powdered, typically inhaled through the nose. Finally, dissolvables are finely ground tobaccos pressed into shapes like tablets, sticks, or strips, and they're placed in the mouth and dissolved. Like smoking, using smokeless tobacco also has serious health consequences like cancer, oral disease, vascular disease, inclusive of stroke, and reproductive and developmental risk. Now, pipes are the oldest form of tobacco. However, the prevalence is much low. It's less than 1% in the U.S., but there's still risk for cancer and COPD. Now, cigars, there's actually three types of cigars. Large cigars typically contain at least 1/2 an ounce of aged fermented tobacco and usually take between 1 to 2 hours to smoke. Cigarros are short. They're like 3 to 4 inches and narrow, and they're like narrow cigars, and they typically contain about 3 grams of tobacco and usually do not include a filter. Now, cigarros have about 96% of cigar market today. And then you have small cigars, which are typically the same size of a cigarette and usually include a filter. Now, marketing efforts promote cigars as a symbol of luxury and success and lifestyle. However, these also have a high risk for cancer. Now, cloves and biddies. So biddies are tobacco wrapped in a tendum or a plant native to Asia, and it may be secured with a colorful string at one or both ends, and it can be flavored like chocolate, cherry, mango, or even unflavored. Now, cloves are also imported from Indonesia, and they're a mixture of tobacco, cloves, and other additives. Now, there's low prevalence of use in the U.S., and so there's limited amount of research on long-term health effects for both of these products. But cloves are associated with lung problems such as decreased oxygen, fluid in the lungs, and leakage from capillaries and inflammation. Biddies are also associated with cancer, emphysema, and chronic bronchitis. We also want to note that both of these have two times the tar and nicotine content than a standard cigarette. And finally, hookah. Now, hookah is a water pipe that are used to smoke specially made tobacco that comes in different flavors. And you see a lot of hookah bars that are out there. It's coming much more popular among the young adults in coffee houses, bars, or lounges. However, nicotine, tar, and CO levels are comparable to or higher than most cigarettes. So example, like smoking 1 hour of a hookah session can be about 200 puffs, which equals about 10 cigarettes. Now, there's a lot of health risks with smoking with hookah. The charcoal used to heat the tobacco can raise health risks by producing a high level of carbon monoxide, metals, and cancer-causing chemicals. Hookah tobacco and smoke contain several toxic agents that are known to lung, bladder, and oral cancer. While many hookah smokers may think this practice is less harmful than smoking cigarettes, hookah smoking has many of the same health effects as cigarettes. So just in summary, cigarettes are by far the most common form of tobacco used in the U.S. Other forms of tobacco and nicotine delivery devices exist and may still have some popularity in the US, particularly like cigars and hookah, but all forms of tobacco are harmful, and we need to pay close attention to all forms of tobacco. Now, the next section we're going to discuss is e-cigs.